Hey everybody, my name is Jack, stage name Ninjak, and we are finally here with the very special content I've been promising you guys. We are actually doing a video with the man, Jamvad, the Pokemon teacher. So say hey, and we can start talking about what we're going to do here.
What's up, guys? What's up? I'm sure most of you guys know of me because I probably sent you here. Um, yeah, we're gonna be doing the most in-depth uh, journey from ground zero to number one, um, and so I'm really pumped because it's never been documented as fully as it's about to be, and I think this is gonna be a lot of value for a lot of people.
I hope so. I know it will be value to me at least.
No, but I think it's super important. I'm sure when you saw Duncan's the thing, it's the man. I'm where he is,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing him over the couple episodes make a ton of horrible mistakes, but then bit by bit you can see the change, and then you start to believe like, maybe I can. Just maybe I can do
Uh-huh.
that. And that's what I'm hoping people realize. Because where are you currently on average for OU?
Currently, it's been a couple weeks, as I was telling you a bit before, and if you
Yep.
are one of my 20 subscribers, you probably know this. I had to move, and then my wife went to the hospital, so last few weeks have been different. But currently, I'm sitting at like 1430. I peaked around 1500, but I hang out more in like the low to mid 1400s.
Okay. So on average 1400. So
Mhm.
guys, if you are like even lower than that, perfect. You're right where you're supposed to be. Because you know, like Jack just started, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he played a few games, but he joined the academy, which I'm sure like sped up where
Oh,
he's at.
massively.
Yeah, I think I think he was just fumbling around. He wouldn't be as high as he is,
No.
um, just because of how many like learning curve moments there are if you don't have the right information. But him joining the academy was good because that's a great environment um, to just grow. Like it's
Hmm.
um, and so it's good that he's already there. But if you are not, 1400 is still very much the beginning point. And so even if you're 1000 right now, if you do the type of stuff that I'm going to illustrate with him, you'll get there in less than a week. I've seen it happen
Oh, yeah.
in the same way every time. As certain as it is that if you jump off a building, you fall. Like, if you do it, you'll get the results.
Oh, yeah. I think I started in February, and I watched a ton of Jamvad stuff. I was all over the academy, and within like 2 weeks, I think I saw 1300, and I might have already been pushing 1400. I mean, you really do just got to follow his stuff, and it'll get you there quite quickly.
Very quickly. Insanely. Uh, and the goal is to get rid of the fluff, right?
Hmm.
Get rid of the fluff. Really only focus on the things that guarantee results. Um, I think a lot of information and well-intentioned information exists, and a lot of it is just not true, and that's not because they are it's misintentioned. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not because they have bad intentions. They're actually
Right.
trying to help you, but when it comes to stuff like this, you want to actually make sure you test whatever your theory is on as many people as possible. So, if I believe that I have the cure to some disease, and I think it's an orange because I gave an orange to some guy and he had the disease the day before, and then the disease is gone the next day, and then I say it's because of the orange,
Right.
right?
You had good
I
intentions, but you weren't necessarily correct.
Right. Nor did you test it on enough people to know if the orange was the actual reason.
Right.
So for me to make a claim like orange cures, foot swelling or whatever that illness is, I'd have to feed an orange to everyone with foot swelling. And if they're paying, if the foot swelling goes away every single time, then we're on to something. But if it's like 1 in 100 people, that's probably not true, right? And so the information I'm about to share with you and why it works so quickly is because it has undergone that kind of testing with hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands. And every time it works. And so I was like, okay, if it's always working, maybe there's something to this information. And if it stops working and the person actually follows the instructions and it stops working, then I have to question it. And then we have to go back to the drawing board. So we're always seeking the truth, not me being right or Jam's the smart guy that teaches minds. I couldn't care less about that. And so I hope that all of you guys will follow steps and help me get this data. All right, just being honest. Let me help get this data because Jack is about to soar, and hopefully that will inspire you to believe you can do it as well.
And my plan is to show you guys it really does. It's not, oh, this person's talented or, oh, that person's just gifted. Right. It really is, are you willing to put in the effort and actually follow the process, or are you going to try and make shortcuts? And I'm going to follow the process and prove once again, as so many others have, that this system does work.
Right.
And I'm excited, guys. Again, that's something that I really like about what he teaches is it's not like, oh, that person's just good at Mons, I'll never beat them. No, that person has put in the time and effort and undergone the training that is efficient.
And you said you played a bit of League. Could you touch on what your experience is?
Yeah.
With what you were doing before and then what happens. Actually, give them a little bit of backstory of how you even found out about me. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. So actually, it's kind of funny. I started work. So I just graduated college last year in May 2020. And I started work at this company, and the person they assigned to be my mentor was into Pokemon. So we quickly connected, and he actually started his own little draft league among friends and invited me in, and I joined. And about that time, Jam was doing a series with Duncan, and my coworker said, hey, like, you should consider watching the series if you want to get better at this. And I did, and thought, wow, that's so cool. Like, he's right. Losing is good. Don't beat yourself up over every little mistake. And something you hammered a lot in some of the early videos is always focus on, I think it was 3 things you did well, or 2 or 3 things. And I was like, wow, I've never thought about that. Well, then my birthday comes up, and my coworker actually surprises me with the book that Jam wrote, the competitive, here we got it right here, The Art of Competitive Pokemon. If you guys want to get good, it really is like, this is how you do it. But so he surprised me with that, and he's like, yeah, this is the book by the guy in the Duncan series. And so of course I got super excited and started reading the book, and I had to stop myself. I'll tell you guys right now, if you just read through it in one sitting, you're really not gaining much, because it's a process. And it says it in the book repeatedly, like, stop here and do X.
I try. Doesn't work. They don't stop, but I try.
And it's hard, guys. I'll be honest, guys. I got there, I was like, I don't want to stop here. This is exciting.
Right.
But I had to go, okay, this person put a lot of effort into this. Maybe I should listen to what they're doing here. So read the book, but actually follow the book. Don't just read through the whole thing in one sitting.
Right.
But what happened is, I'm also in the League of Legends, and I'm pretty new. I've been playing for like a year and a half. And if you guys know League, there's like 150 champions. You cannot possibly learn everything in a year and a half. So I'm like pretty low elo, and I start going, well, let me do what I saw on Duncan's thing. Every game I would say, what is 1 or 2 things, maybe 3, that I did well? And I went from having a 48% win rate, and that was like over 100 plus games. So that was a statistically significant 48%. I was losing more than I was winning. I went from 48%, I want to say I hit 65 or 66% win rate within 2 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, it was just, and as you can imagine, I started to climb hard.
Right.
Just focusing on the principles taught. And that was what showed me, like, this system works. And if this was, he's framed it in the book for Pokemon, and I've just applied it to something else entirely, League of Legends, and it worked really well. And so I said, this really does work. this really does work. And so then I started applying it to Pokemon. And that's basically my backstory. And watching the Duncan Can't Die series it inspired me to think I could do this too. And then I start watching Jam's videos, and I'm like, I can do this. It's just a system. I just have to stick to the system. And that's that. And now I'm here with Jam recording, trying to prove it once again.
And what makes this one so different from the Duncan series is he's gonna show you the process.
Mm-hmm.
With every series I've done, it's sort of like you see the me training with the person, me meeting with the person, but you don't really see them play. So they just kind of come back and say, okay, I'm around here, but you never see like the battles, right? And so what's cool about what Jack is doing is he's going to show you the battles.
Yes.
He's going to show you the ups and downs and actually show you him struggling internally because it's going to happen. He's like, okay, but what did I do? Let's try to find and literally show you and show the points going up and just show the progress and show it. And I think you have no idea how valuable this is. His goal, and I chuckled, is 1,000 in a year and a half. I'm like, come on, bro. With the value this series is going to deliver, there's nobody who's not going to want to watch this. And so I can certainly see, especially if you actually get there that fast, that means people are going to start watching you just because you're good. Like,
I hope so. Watching. And for clarification, that's 1,000 subs, guys. My goal is then 1,000 points.
Right, yeah, right. You start with 1,000 in Pokemon,
right.
If you didn't know. And say I've already succeeded.
I've made it. Yeah, the goal is 1,000 in a year and a half, but he's telling me that we'll get there quicker, so I hope to prove him right.
Yep. Man. But as I said, what I love about you is that the number one thing, I'll say these two things are really what break players. So this is the beginning of the lesson now that the introduction is over for everybody. Okay. I'm going to skim over the beginning stuff just in case there's that person who's like, okay, well, I don't know that yet. And so I want to actually kind of touch on it. And I'm going to ask you, your in-depth knowledge. And so to kind of preface, already my philosophy, losing is good. There's no dumb question. If you don't know, ask. If you don't quite understand, ask. If you want more clarity, ask. You're not going to get anywhere. I know that's not your temperament, but you're not going to get anywhere trying to pretend you know more than you do. Right? You're going to fail like that. 100%. And that goes for anybody that's listening. You're going to fail 100% if you go into there trying to prove how much you know rather than learn how much you don't.
Right.
100%. Not 99. You will fail. I'm really trying to hammer this in.
Do you guys get it yet?
You will fail. You are wasting your time. So if you are not listening to the right people, you're already at the right spot. We kind of went over why. But you also must be teachable.
Yeah.
If you used to go left, and I'm saying, well, you should go right now. If you don't understand why to go right, fair enough, ask. But if you say, well, no, I've been going left, okay.
You're gonna get the same result.
Yes, you're gonna get the same. You're clearly not. You don't know what to do, or else you'd have the results. And so when I tell you that is the number one thing, people are very, very stubborn, right?
Oh yeah.
And that is why, and even, it's funny we talk about Duncan. This was something I had to work with Duncan with a while. He'd still be in his stubbornness, and it wasn't until about the third episode that he got in the groove of like, okay, you're the teacher. I'm gonna just,
And that's what appealed to me so much, was seeing that transformation and going, oh, like he can change how he's going about this. Well, if he can do it, why can't I do that?
And it's a human thing, right? I don't get upset if you notice. I'm like, okay. because I know one way or the other, this game, life, all these things have a way of slapping you in the mouth, as I like to call it, right? And you will get punched in the mouth one way or the other. So it doesn't matter if you want to do it or listen. Screw Jam, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay. But what's going to happen is you're going to get slapped in the mouth, tilt, get wrecked, all these great things. And then you're going to be stuck in a crossroad of, do I keep my ego of I know it all? Or am I going to then give up that pride and say, okay, maybe I don't know as much as I think I do? And rewatch the video and say, okay. And I've had a plethora of people go through that same process. And it's only when they come back and say, you know what? I don't know as much as I thought I did. It takes a lot of humility to do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and it's every time they've always jumped 300 to 400 points right after that within like the next either 24 hours or the next couple days. 300 to 400 points.
Yeah. And I've actually got that graph up that you posted in the academy a couple weeks ago about conviction and knowledge, which I thought just illustrated that so well. If you're really determined to keep your ego, when you fall into this insecure canyon, you're never going to leave.
Never.
But he's talking about 300 to 400 point jump. Look at this. The moment you start to say, hey, maybe I don't know as much as I thought I did. Maybe I should learn here. You start climbing. And I also really liked that graph.
That's not even mine. It's funny. Blunder. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Blunder.
Yes, vaguely. Not as well, but I know of him.
Yes, Blunder is a good friend of mine. Also a very decorated competitive player, but he doesn't play as much these days. But most of your audience will know who Blunder is. Not everybody.
Yeah.
But Blunder actually linked me that graph, and it was a conversation we were having around the same topic, but different arena of knowledge. And so from that conversation, he saw that graph. But it had something to do with trading or something. I think maybe stocks and and so that person was experiencing the same phenomena, I believe, in like the crypto space or the blockchain space, where people just, I know everything, right? And when I saw it, I was like, this is it. This is I must steal this. So decided to share, but it is so powerful. Like, a lot of you guys are on top of the hill right now.
Yeah.
A lot of you.
If you're new to this, we can guarantee that that's where you're at.
Right. But you don't even have to go to Insecure Canyon. Why?
That's true.
And this is the first lesson. Because not knowing is not a bad thing.
Right. It's not embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. People think it's cool to be smart. You're not that smart.
And let's be honest, how did the smart people get there? Not because they thought they were.
Correct. You're not that smart, and even they're not that smart. What I mean is, in the grand scheme of things, there's so much you don't know.
Yeah.
You may specialize in a particular area of knowledge, but if you specialize in sports, you know a lot about basketball, or know a lot about soccer, you know a lot, but you also don't know a lot about engineering, or how your cell phone works, or how the internet works, or how you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so if Mons is another area that you're like, okay, I'm getting such and such results and I want better results. If you're not getting the results, it's because there are things you don't know. Which is good. That's a great start. It doesn't mean you're dumb or worthless, you never amount to anything. None of that is phenomenal. There's still a lot I'm learning. That's why I like training people, because they teach me. Okay, I need to improve how I teach that. Maybe I'm not clarifying that. Okay, I was always learning from them. So I really want to nail that in, because it is the maker or breaker. How teachable are you? number one, maker or breaker. And so
yeah.
the transition, you were about to say something?
I was just gonna say that really is like you said, it's literally the rest of this video. You might as well not watch it if you don't get that. You are wasting your time.
100%. 100, not 99. You will be wasting your time if you're like, what? I know more. You're wasting your time, bro. Come back. You're going to come back because you're going to suck. You're either going to quit the game or you're going to come back.
Right.
That's not, I'm not trying to be historically correct here or something. I just want to see you guys get good. That's it. That is it. I don't care about you telling people that I helped you, or I couldn't care less. And I'm being honest about that. I've helped enough people. So at this point, I want Jack to become the next me. Go in tournaments, destroy everybody, and teach back what he's learned.
Jack wants that too.
I want more like competitive YouTubers, like players and stuff that want to teach.
Yes.
That's what I want. So I built the academy and all that. I don't want when I leave that's it.
Right. We don't want this to die.
Yes. So guys, please. I spent like 20 minutes on this. It's because it's that important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after that, how familiar you are with, you're already familiar with losing is good. I'm not going to harp on that because I think because you already know it, like know it, quote unquote, but you're grasping it and understanding it more and more each day.
Yeah.
You'll be able to illustrate why that's the case in your video. So I think that you're already going to sort of show that. And the guys, if you don't understand why losing is good, or if you disagree or your gut feeling, you're like, just ask.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
and
ask.
Actually, sneak peek, I have a video next week coming out titled Losing is Good, where I give examples from several weeks ago where I learned stuff from losing.
Just ask. That's it. But if you're insecure about feeling dumb, if I ask, that means I don't know. You don't know. If you don't get it, that means you don't know, which is good.
Right.
Really want to emphasize that not knowing is not bad. We've been conditioned like that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you didn't know something, you're stupid. You're in the dumb class. You get a D.
Yeah.
Right. Or
that almost kills me to some extent because I'm like, really, the person who's stupid is the one who got a D and didn't do anything with it.
Yes.
If you get a D and you start asking questions, I would argue you're smarter than the people who get A's but never ask anything. It's just the moment you get out of school, they stop handing you A, B, C, D, F, or whatever your metric is. If you're used to asking, you're going to do great in life because you'll be like, every time something doesn't go great, you'll figure it out. But if you get out of school used to just coasting with A's and B's and you're like, oh, I got this, and you never ask people, you are going to fail so hard in your career.
Well, life is going to slap you in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Like anything. And you're like, And in that moment, you have to decide, do I keep my ego in Secure Canyon? Or do I say, you know what? Everybody got to go. Like, it is not, I went through this. It's not, again, I really want to emphasize, this is not something that is like, we are on the soapbox and ye shall not be arrogant. Like, we all went through this phase and we all got punched in the mouth. And it was like, okay, maybe I'm not that smart. And so ideally you won't have to experience that pain. But if you need to, by all means, just come back to the video after you're done.
Right. Right.
We got you after that. We got you.
Come join us.
But yeah, so that's it for the more kind of mental start. Generally in the beginning, I emphasize that, and losing is good. But as far as the more technical components, I'm going to hop on PS and I'm going to share my screen.
Alrighty.
So that we can actually, I found that I wasn't Um, I wasn't. It's just better to show
Hmm.
what I'm describing along with explaining the theory behind it. And so this screen is about to pop up right now.
There we
Let me
go.
know if you can see that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you can see I do a lot of writing. So we got the 3 word tabs. So forgive the messiness of that, guys. But we're gonna go over the basics. And these are the things you're going to be mastering over the next couple weeks, really. And so, how familiar are you with the concept of value?
I'm pretty familiar. I've read your book, and I'm used to trying to think in terms of it.
Okay. And could you relay back your understanding of it so I can see if we're clear there?
So, this concept of value, guys, is in competitive Pokemon. We'll use this as our example. That you have 2 teams, and you're trying to, at the beginning of the game, you both have a certain set of values. So let's just say the common example Jam uses is each mon is worth 100 points, so your total team is 600, and they have 600. Your goal is to take all 600 of their value without losing all 600 of yours. Yep. And so every turn you're trying to say, how can I maximize the value I am gaining for myself or taking from them while minimizing what they might be doing to me?
Oh, dude, you're a scholar.
Thank you.
That is I have nothing to add. That is exactly what it is. And to put it in, I guess, layman's terms, guys, and I just have the battle up because that's technically happening right now, right? They're always an exchange of value. But to put it in layman's terms, value is, if you're a super beginner, you can think of value as HP, but it's not always HP. But I think it's safe to think of it as HP, right? How much HP am I taking per turn? Now, value does not, again, only mean HP for the more advanced guys, right? Value could also mean, knocking off somebody's very important item, right? Value could also mean getting up a entry hazard. Value could also mean, PP stalling, meaning each move has a certain amount of power. What are called power points? I think.
I've always wondered what that stood for, to be honest.
Okay, I think it's power points.
Okay, that seems right.
That move you can use. So, you cannot use any move infinitely, guys. If you're a super beginner, I always like to assume they're super beginners. And so sometimes if you cannot defeat an opponent by taking away a lot of value, sometimes you're just going to stall until they used up all their moves and go for something known as struggle, which is essentially negative value because every time you attack, you lower your own health. So you're taking value from yourself at that point. But yes, so value is the first basic concept. And the reason that is so important is because it's what's called the currency of a game. So if you look at the game that's going on right now, every turn, each opponent is trying to take value. So if you notice, 2 Pokemon on the opposing side of the team is already dead. And now that opponent came in with their Darmanitan, KO'd the Tyranitar, took value from them, right? And so using that example of one Pokemon being worth 100, you could say both of them have 400 value now. Now, one of them was about to lose value and happens to be the Darmanitan dies. Nidoking lives, Darmanitan dies. So he lost almost all the value from his Nidoking, but he took all the value from Darmanitan. And so let's see if this Incineroar is going to... So it fakes out. So the opponent lost value. The other opponent got to keep some. So you see there's always an exchange going on. So it's like, okay, you took value from me, I'm trying to take value from you. You took value from me, I'm trying to take value from you. Right?
Right.
And so that's always happening. Now, the next question you probably think, well, Jam, how do I determine that I'm taking a lot of value, or I'm taking the right amount of value. How do I know? Like, how do I do it? How do I take value? And how you take value is going to be determined by only three things. These three actions that you can take. If you notice, the opponents on the field currently are attacking. So one just used Dragon Pulse, one just used Earth Power. So there are three actions you can take in Pokemon: attacking, defending, and switching. They're currently taking value through attacking. So Duraludon dies. Salamatoad is alive. And so they're taking value through attacking. Brings in Volcarona, right? And let's see what the Volcarona goes for. It goes for Quiver Dance, which classifies under attacking because it's setting up with the goal of doing damage. Toxic also classifies as attacking. Why do you think that is?
So Toxic, you're not preventing yourself from dying, but by applying it to your opponent, you're putting a damage over time on them. You're effectively putting a timer on that Pokemon.
Right. And so that's known as an indirect way of taking value. So you can take value in two ways from attacking. Directly, like Bug Buzz right there, you actually take the HP away. Or indirectly, through Toxic, where you don't touch the Pokemon, but it's losing health over time. Or Entry Hazard, there's another way of indirect, right?
Right.
Or Rocky Helmet, things like that. Indirect ways of taking value. Fake Out is direct, Toxic is indirect. And so now he's going to send out Hydreigon, and he needs to take value from the opponent. The opponent, as last Pokemon, is Incineroar. So he's about to potentially win the game, but to win the game, he needs to take all the value. And to take all the value, he needs to KO all of his Pokemon, right? And so he goes for Nasty Plot.
Interesting.
And he goes for Parting Shot, right? And so this always happening. It's always happening. He goes for Knockoff. I'm really not sure why he's Nasty Plotting up, but
I don't either.
The other guy forfeits, but the Incineroar was gonna die there to whatever move that the Hydreigon chose to go for. And so the opponent forfeited before that happened, but that's a case of the opponent won the value because it took all the value from the other guy, from Tay. So Shadow Course took all the value from Tay. Even though he has one Pokemon left, that's all you need. You just need to have some value on the board.
As long as the enemy has 0 and you have a non-zero number, then you've won the battle.
Right. And so with the three actions you can take, attacking, defending, and switching, I'm going to give more of a real-time example. So I'll just find a random battle here and I'll give you an illustration in real time. And so I have started with a Behemoth and I started with a Latios. I have a super effective move that I can connect with the Behemoth in the cadence of Shadow Ball. Latios is a psychic type, and so I want to take value from Latios. Generally, the best way to take value is hitting Pokemon with super effective hits because it does double the damage. So I'm going to click Shadow Ball here to take value. Mind you, he clicked Calm Mind. He hasn't taken any value from me as yet, but he Calm Minds. And so I'm going to go for Shadow Ball once again, primarily because of analytic and, Shadow Ball would actually be stronger the second time. I don't know if it will KO. Let me see. Trick Room. Actually, so what I'm going to do here is click Trick Room. We're going to click Shadow Ball 2 times. Wow, that's doing no damage. Okay, excellent. He went for Roost. What action does that fall under?
So that is a defensive action.
Defensive. Why?
He is trying to heal himself. He has lost value, and he's not taking any value from you directly, but he is increasing the value of his Latios back up from some of what he lost.
Right. And so defending, guys, I'm attacking and he's defending. Notice he has not attacked me yet, but he's now in a position where he can take a lot of value from me if I allow him to. So he keeps combining, and what I'm gonna do is just go for the Thunder Wave, which is what? Is that an attack, defender, or switch?
So I would call that I would say it is an attacking option because you are crippling the value of your opponent. You are removing value from them because now
Yes.
Latios is much slower and has a chance to not move.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that trick room myself. But so this is not the best example, complete. But the point is, well, actually, maybe I'll be able to trick him here. No. But the point is, like, the Diggersby was supposed to come in, attack, and all that stuff. But the point is, you notice I nasty plot to take value away, and he Draco Meteor, so the Latios is gone and all that now. But the point is, you want to take value. So that Latios managed to KO 3 Pokemon of mine, right?
Right.
And so that is him using Calm Mind to boost up his special defense, boost up his special attack. And Calm Mind, things like Calm Mind, Quiver Dance are in a weird mid category, but I'd still, depending on how they're used, they can fall into either attacking or defending.
Right.
Right. You have moves that are purely defending, like
Iron
Acid
Defense,
Armor,
or that.
or Amnesia, Protect, Recover, and then you have some that are more attacking based, like Swords Dance, Nasty Plot. Right? They don't directly do damage, but it's with the intent of doing damage. And so, it's just facial running. He's likely on a Shell Smash. Oh, this is a toxic variant. But the point here is not even winning or losing or whatever, right?
Right.
If okay, fair enough. Like, I think the Blastoise learns Protect, so he might Protect here or whatever. But notice I'm trying to solve the problem through attacking. So it goes to Stack Attacker. I have a super effective water move that will KO Stack Attacker, right? And so he didn't feel like he was getting a lot of value in keeping his Blastoise versus Palkia. So then he decided, okay, to gain more value, I'm going to have to switch. And so we've seen all 3 actions in play. I'm going to attack here to take value from him, but he switches, knowing I'll go for the water move, and is indirectly defeating me with the Toxic. Right? And so because the Toxic is building up, I'm going to have to make a decision here. I'm like, okay, well, since Toxic is building up, I'm going to switch. Surprised he Rapid Spin there, but it doesn't make a difference. I'm now going to switch and KO this Blastoise with my attack. So now I'm starting to take value back. Right? This Diggersby might kill me. Knockoff probably kills, right? And so the Diggersby, I meant to go Palkia there, but that's fine. But the Diggersby is taking a lot of value from us, right? And so Trick Room, all this stuff was his Life Orb. Palkia was supposed to be the one to come out. Hydro Pump would have KO'd him, blah, 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 blah. But as I said, the point in the end of the day, G's might win. Max Slayer. Nah, Palkia was the one. So he's just going to go for knockoff here. Palkia would have KO'd him. But he's taking value from me through knockoff, through whatever. Shouldn't have switched there. I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things, but no real reason to switch. And so he goes for Leaf Storm, take value again, all that stuff. And so because he Toxic'd me earlier, that's an indirect means of taking value. So even though that Blastoise is gone, I'm still suffering from the consequences of the Blastoise being alive. Because he left me with a nice little present, which is that toxic damage. And so that's ultimately going to be the biggest savior for my opponent, because I can never win because of the toxic, even though that Celebi switch was pretty obvious. But even then, Fire Blast and Mist doesn't matter. We still weren't going to win the game. And so we're, Dynamax, Fire Blast. And so if you notice, all the Pokemon on our side of the field are gone. He still has some remaining. So he took all 600 of my points, my money, whatever, before I could take his. I was only able, in a way of looking at it, to take 300 points from him. And so at any point in any battle, you're always trying to determine which of the three actions you're going to take. Am I attacking here? Is that what gets me the most value? Am I switching here? Is that what gets me the most value? Am I defending? And so I'll play a little more, a less explanation-based game. In random battles, you can't really control what you get. But I'm going to play this one a lot faster for the audience just to show you how this would look in actual practice. So you notice I realize I'm not in an advantageous position there, so I'm going to go for the switch. And, you know, Incineroar's dual typing does well versus Blacephalons. And so Barbarica comes in, likely going to Shell Smash. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to defend. I actually should have went to Comfy there. I would have gotten the priority Giga Drain, but doesn't matter. His dual stab is walled by Keldeo. And so as you can see, I'm quickly starting to... so already taken value from the opponent, taking one Pokemon from him. Slowbro, Psychic, and Water type. I have Fighting and Water type moves. I don't do well versus his typing, and therefore I'm going to need to switch. And so the question is, which Pokemon am I going to switch to regain value? At this point, I'm going to choose Ludicolo. As he asked for Thunderwave. I was going to go to Vikavolt too, but you know. And so in doing so, this allows for us to go for Giga Drain. We're just going to take value from the thing that's in front of us. But again, it's a lot less game planning here, because you don't want to confuse somebody who's not quite there yet. So we're just really practicing, okay, value, taking value, losing value, taking value, losing value, taking value, losing value. Fire Blast did less than half last time, so we're gonna go back to the Pokemon that deals with it. He gets a special defense drop that could matter, but he ends up switching, so it doesn't. Knockoff did 60. This one could kill him, but it's a roll. And so we're gonna go back to Ludicolo here. Right, and because he didn't heal, this allows for us to just go for Scald. I wish we weren't choice specs. But because he didn't heal, he can't do very much to us. And so we're going to keep switching until we're in positions of power. Scalded there. Could have killed us in the range.
That's unfortunate.
It is what it is. Let's see. It's not good. Question is, does he have U-turn? That will KO us. So we're going to go to Keldeo here on the switch, predicting the U-turn because we weren't in an advantageous position. So we have to solve it with which action? Switching. Hold on. So if you notice, value is being taken throughout every turn. He just took some value from me. My Keldeo is at 24%. And now he's going to get the opportunity to switch into whatever he wants to switch into. So value has been taken. Okay, I thought that we weren't. I saw my Discord light up, so I wasn't sure if you weren't getting the.
No,
you weren't hearing me.
No, yeah, I see you, and I hear you.
Okay, and so we're gonna take value in a different way since he can switch around so much in Ludicolo. So we get frozen there.
That's kind of an example of a low risk play because he wasn't really likely to lose a whole lot with Ice Beam, but it actually ended up having huge value for him because of that freeze chance, which is now landed.
Right. And so he's gotten a lot of value out of getting that random kind of RNG situation. Just put me in a very awkward spot. Because otherwise we'd have been able to just Volt Switch here. And so if we unthaw, then good. But if he decides to go to his Blacephalon, then it's quite a bad situation for us because then he gets the Beast Boost and it's a lot harder to deal with that. And so I'm still going to hope that we unthaw and Volt Switch. We don't. And so we're just going to go back to Keldeo to give it up. Can't get around it, and he gets to Powerball freely. which is unfortunate, but that is the name of the game. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go Incineroar. We're gonna pivot to Comfy here to see if he has high jump kick. Does not have it, goes for U-turn. If he high jump kicked, his typing would have changed, and then we'd have been able to KO him or at least do a significant amount of damage with Draining Kiss. But now, because of that, we're in an awkward position. The freeze and the full Parament Cinderace is alive. So we're going to have to find a different solution to this problem. So what I'll do is go to Ludicolo. Ideally, we don't get to a KO. That's a lovely miss. Lovely miss. Basically, what we had to do there, because we could have potentially been forced to Dynamax, because we can't have this thing getting a beast boost. But we don't want to Dynamax because Excadrill is so good, which is why we wanted to remove Slowbro. That way Excadrill can do a lot more with the Sand Rush. But the point of this game is, again, not to win, but I just want to show you the back and forth of how you're always trying to attack, defend, or switch, attack, defend, or switch, attack, defend, or switch. And what's driving whether I do either of those is how much value is it going to give me or save me, right? Am I losing value? Am I taking value? Am I losing value? Am I taking value? Right. I had to switch out my Comfy because I was about to lose value and he was going to gain a lot of value.
Yeah.
I went to Ludicolo hoping that it would take it. Because I don't have any better switch-ins right now.
And you'll notice something too, guys. There's this concept of value he's playing around, but you notice he said he had a game plan too. He wants to Dynamax his Excadrill. But in order to do that, there are certain key opponents on the enemy's team that have kind of extra value because they prevent his win condition. Like that Slowbro. And so there different Pokemon in each matchup can have different levels of value, where that Slowbro is actually, whether the opponent knows it or not, extremely valuable to, what's that guy's name, Slowly? So Slowbro is very valuable here because once it's removed, Excadrill becomes a very big threat.
Right. But if you don't know what win conditions, you want to take it a step at a time.
That's true.
So win
That's
conditions
true.
and game plans and all that is irrelevant right now.
Good point.
That's down the line. So if you don't know what that means, don't worry. You're not supposed to yet. All you need to understand currently is how value and switching and all that. And if you're super new, then I wonder if he'll Scald here. Hopefully he Scalds. Yes. Okay. So we're on Thawed. We can't. So we're gonna Volt Switch here. I feel like he's gonna stay in. The Bug Buzz would kill him. Volt Switch. Well, not, but I think Volt Switch is still what guarantees value. It's called guaranteeing. If he goes to Cinderace and we go for Bug Buzz, he gained value and we gain very little because now he can kill another Pokemon. Whereas if we Volt Switch and he goes to Cinderace, we can switch into whatever we want and we get HP. If he leaves the Slowbro in and we Volt Switch, we get a lot of HP and we can still go to whatever we want. So in a position like this, you want to, again, in that position, I want to switch. I want to attack here. So he does stay in, as I said, I figured he would. And we're going to go to our Ludicolo here on Scald, most likely. And now we're about to click Scald again. One, because he can't do very much to us. The best thing he has is Ice Beam, which doesn't get the same type attack boost, meaning it's a lot weaker than an Ice type using Ice Beam. Or he's going to go directly into Cinderace, or I expected Cinderace, and would have died to a Scald. And so we're getting to the point where Comfy is becoming a very real problem. Thievul is pure dark, right? So we're going to go to said Comfy as he follow plays, and we're going to go for that priority Draining Kiss, which is ever so important. Go slow, bro. Yep. I don't think he understands the value of it. So we're just going to Draining Kiss here. Giga Drain here. Which will allow us to unleash Excadrill later on as he opts for Cinderace. So we're going to give up Ludicolo here as he Power Balls. This allows for us to go for the Will-O-Wisp. So he does have high jump
Ooh,
kick. I wonder if he predicted us last time or he just didn't go for it.
yeah.
Um, but this allows for Comfy to come in and draining kiss. I don't know if he's aware of the fact that. Okay, he does know. Okay, so he knows about the typing and that kind of stuff. And so what I'm going to end up doing is, let me see, high jump kick. I'm gonna end up doing is, because I could kill this, it'd bring in. What I end up doing is giving up the Volt to, well, it was ideally to get the Cinderace, to get the extra drill in versus the Thievul. That way we can get our Sand Rush before the Cinderace can change its typing. So he power balls there. So now he has the option of high jump kicking, which is what I did not want him to do, because he could also have max guarded there, I suppose. Well, U-turns, okay.
Ooh, okay.
But so that gives us the boost, and then it's pretty much a bloodbath from here. Pretty much no matter what he does. I don't think he can KO us back. Max Flare. Oh, that's a good play. Oh, that's a good Max Flare.
Ooh,
that might be a game-winning Max Flare. No, that might be a game-winning Max Flare. That's actually really smart. Because I thought that guaranteed win once the sand is up, you just sort of earthquake through the team. But that's potentially a game-winning Max Flare. I don't think there's a way around that, because Comfy can never beat Cinderace. So unless, I can't think of a way where he'd lose this.
Maybe if you crit Max Rockfall?
Unless he crit Max Rockfall and KO him, yeah. He just attacks us again and Max Flare again, which is the best play. And then he just goes for the steal move. And so, yeah, because Comfy never beats Cinderace. And so, as you can see right there, he took all the value from us. You know, obviously Cinderace dying with the paralysis and all that stuff, you know, makes a difference. But, you know, you can't really control those kinds of things. And so you just have to play to your outs. But if you recall the turn where Slowbro switched and I scalded as he went to Cinderace, because the Ludicolo is choice specs, I can't switch moves unless I Dynamax. So because the Slowbro was low, the best way to take value there was to just go for the Scald. In case he went to Cinderace, which he did, but we ended up getting fully paralyzed. And so that Cinderace that ended up living, ended up being a huge issue later on. And so it ends up causing him to win the game. But as I said, you know, completely irrelevant. The biggest thing to take away and really want to hammer down before we have, because I'm going to have Jack start playing, the biggest thing I want to hammer down is just the importance of, I'm always considering, am I taking value, losing value? And so, do you have any OU teams currently to just load up?
I've got one that I made a while ago. I haven't updated. I don't even know. Did the Zamazenta get unbanned?
Yeah, that's banned and all that. Yeah.
It's still banned.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a team that should be able to do okay. So let me back out of here. And do you want me to share my screen, or do you want to?
Yeah, we'll go back to your screen. Hold on. Well, you don't have to share your screen. I can look into your battle. But as far as like,
good point.
You know, your OBS, then focus it on your screen for sure.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna come in
and
here.
Then go into 1 second. Could you go into the IDM room? Do you know what that is?
No.
So you want to click join chat, and then when you scroll all the way down, you're gonna click join other room. Do you see that?
Join. I see chat rooms. Join other room. Okay.
And just type the letters IDM in there.
Oh, okay.
I see you now, Ninjak21.
Yes.
And so when you find a battle, this is just a small little private channel that I can easily just find you.
Okay, perfect.
To watch the game.
So should I go ahead and queue up?
Yep.
All right. So this, by the way, everyone, is the team I built in my team builder video a while ago. And I've made some slight edits to it, but it's mostly the same. Okay.
And what I recommend, I didn't mention this, but
Mhm.
when you're, did you find a battle?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. When you are new, it is always better to use a already tested team, meaning a team by a experienced player that has, either hit number one or been very far up the ladder, then build your own. And the reason is because of something I'm going to teach you after these games.
Okay. So this is interesting. I'll be honest, I'm not used to Natu, and I'm very curious to see what its gimmick is, for lack of a better word. But something I remember that I've read and been trying to practice is you want to think about, well, I guess we're not there yet. Should I just focus on attack, defense, switch?
No, you can use your normal.
Okay. So I'm trying to think, what do I have that beats his whole team? And my Volcarona is pretty deadly if we can break the disguise on Mimikyu, and we can boost up against... actually, we have to... Porygon 2 is pretty bulky. So if we can get rid of Porygon 2 or weaken it and break the Mimikyu disguise... I don't even know if we have to break disguise. I don't actually know those numbers. Volcarona's a threat. I'm kind of running out of time here. What do they have that beats me? I guess Marowak could be a problem. Ghost move into Slowbro. I don't know what it does about Mandibuzz, but we might find out. Okay, so I think... I'm going to be honest, I don't really know. I don't see a major threat on their team. I have an answer for most of these. I feel like Nidoking could be a problem. Nidoking could be a problem. As far as leads go, does Mandibuzz lose to any of these outright? I don't think so. So we're going to lead Mandibuzz. And they do lead Marowak. So this is a moment where I don't know the meta as well to know what Marowak is carrying, but I would not think it would have something for Mandibuzz. I would think Foul Play would be quite devastating. So what is the safest option here? Because I don't want to get hit by something crazy. Does it learn? It doesn't. No, I don't think it learns anything that I know of. Oh. Isn't Rockhead no, I don't think it has a rock move. Okay, that was
He's like, I've had enough.
Sorry about that, dude. I was just trying to analyze.
Nah, it's fine. Actually, matter of fact, no, I'll have you play first. Because what I wanted to do is, again, merge. Usually I'd give you all the theory first, and then, because we haven't touched on the 3 pillars, but it's important to help kind of clarify, like, why you know so much. And so, just go ahead and find another one. I'll talk about the 3 pillars, like, afterwards.
Okay.
To kind of round out the session. But I want to show a lot of active, live explanations of the concepts.
Yeah. So in this case, we're going to do the same process. What do I have?
The opponent. Can you invite me to the game? I'm MTV Jam.
Okay, how does that work?
I think /invite.
Invite MTV Jam.
Yep, I'm invited now.
Perfect. Okay. So in this circumstance, they have a mirror Volcarona, but if I can get set up, Volcarona can take out all of their team. Things that Volcarona sets up well against on this team, not that much actually. So Volcarona's good if I can get it set up, but we probably need him to be weakened to the point where he has to swap on my Volcarona in order to get it set up. Things that he has that beats my whole team. Alakazam is scary because that thing has a lot of special attack. And my special wall is Corviknight. Actually, Corviknight should take it. Focus Blast is the main fear from it. Or Focus Miss, as some people call it.
Right.
Let's see. Defensively, Do I have anything that walls his whole team? If I can get rid of Dragapult, my Corviknight becomes very good. Actually, so my Corviknight's a sub bulk up set. So actually, Corviknight is good. I have to get rid of Corviknight and Dragapult for it to be good. Okay. So I'm afraid of Alakazam. So I want to lead something that does not outright lose to Alakazam. Which Rillaboom does not outright lose to it because I outspeed and one-shot. Unless it's Focus Sash, but we'll see. So I think Rillaboom prevents me from just instantly losing against Alakazam. Ah, yes.
Look at that. Looky here.
So we did a good bit of analysis there. Now in this circumstance, I can choose to just go ahead and attack and immediately try to take value. To some extent, I would expect my opponent to swap, and so I could try to read and click knockoff, but me personally, I like to play safe. If you guys know me, you know that. I like to read my opponent, scout them, and not make aggressive plays super early. So I'm going to click Grassy Glide and basically say, yes, okay. Ooh, please don't burn. Okay. So that was great by the opponent because they basically took no damage. And now I'm in an uncomfortable spot where Volcarona can try to set up on me. And in order to stop that, oh dear.
So what action do you need to take? It's always an action that solves your problem.
So I need to swap because I'm choice locked into Grassy Glide and I'm never going to do damage. And they're going to try to set up against me. So I need to swap into something that hits fairly hard. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't appreciate just how dangerous Volcarona is.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Corviknight. They're probably going to Quiver Dance. Yes.
Might be over.
Yes.
We'll see.
I'm going to pray that they miss a Fire Blast and that this Brave Bird gets off. Fiery Dance.
Fire Blast.
Okay.
So it might save you. Oh, no, he's too bulky. Yep.
Shoot.
You may have lost, but we'll see.
Let's see.
But it's not your fault per se. Like, you're pretty Volk weak, your team. But yeah. I didn't know if you saw it.
No,
but,
I did
which
not.
Is good. This is good.
Yes.
We're going to emphasize the process after the fact.
Okay, so this is a bulky Volcarona. I do not... So let's see. It's got Fiery Dance. I am used to seeing Psychic and Giga Drain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, I'm getting pretty low, huh? So we're going to go, man, at 2.5 special attack, things don't look great, but we're going to try to get a Toxic off. Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's unusual. Huh. I don't ever see that with bulky.
So that's definitely... that's a problem. I really don't have... Swapping really doesn't do much for me because he's just going to kill something no matter what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much just have to pray for living and then try and break sub, which I frankly doubt. Yeah. Well played to my opponent. So this is a circumstance, guys. They said GG. Yeah, thank you. This is a circumstance where, in my mind, I haven't lost. Yes, I lost the battle, but I learned, wow, this team is seriously weak to Volcarona. Like, I do not have an easy time stopping this thing. And so now at this point, guys, I'm kind of limit testing. I'm like, well, we've already lost the battle, but let's learn one foul play plus one Giga Drain breaks this Volcarona sub. So that's some information that I've gained from it. That particular set of info is probably not especially valuable. But yeah, so now I know Volcarona is a serious problem to this team. Yes, it does have Giga Drain. Interesting. Fiery Dance, Giga Drain, Sub Quiver.
Bulky. I mean, usually that set is offensive. But, you're on the lower end, so you'll find more interesting sets, let's just say. But yeah, Volcarona was always a big issue. And so,
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna. This is why losing is good, right?
Right.
You don't like somebody seeing this happen or this happening to somebody. This is a pivotal moment, and so I want you to stop right there, right here.
Okay.
This moment, Ace Trainer Scotty won the battle. This moment is what makes the greatest players of or anything ever in life but we're gonna use Pokemon, or makes you a whiny loser that never gets anywhere. This moment right here.
Yeah.
Now, Jack,
Uh-huh.
you have just lost the game.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking, first of all, I had a gap in my awareness where I recognized Alakazam was a threat, but I completely ignored Volcarona. It didn't occur to me that Volcarona basically can set up on everything except for Corviknight. And if I let Volcarona come in on anything but Corviknight, they just won. So I'm thinking, okay, that is something that I did not understand. And that was a gap in my knowledge and a gap in... Well, actually, no. I knew that. And in fact, that was revealed. The moment Volcarona came out, I said, uh-oh.
Yeah,
I knew the info, but I wasn't aware of it.
Right.
Which is a little bit of a tie-in to what I think you're going to talk to in a second.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. Mm-hmm.
But the primary thing I'm thinking, guys, is I've just learned. And how much information can I pull from this? Because in this case, I lost 19 points. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't want to give those points for nothing.
Right.
I want to learn as much as I can for 19 points so that I get the most value out of having spent those points. I almost view it as like I'm paying them for the opportunity to learn with my points.
Right. I remember you posted that, Indy. I really liked that one. That was the first time I ever heard it spun that way when you posted it in Just for Jam.
Uh-huh.
He's saying like, I'm investing my points right now. So it'd be a waste if I just gave him the points for free and then review it. And so I really want to harp, just like how I harped on being teachable in the beginning. Notice every game we've played today, and this is super critical. I've lost both. Jack has lost both.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean?
It means we learned.
It means the biggest thing with a player is how they perceive the losses. If you're the type of person who be like, well, they lost, therefore they're not good, or they lost, therefore they're bad, or some variation of that, that's a reflection of how you perceive winning and losing.
Uh-huh.
And if that's how you perceive it, I can already tell why you're not where you want to be. And so that's an important shift to make. Losing is good. The reason losing is good is because there are neurological reasons why you need to fail. But to keep it simple, because smarts, right? So from a more practical standpoint, if you can handle this one of two ways. You could handle it where it says, perfect, just lost, just learned that I'm weak to Volcarona, excellent. Right? And that shifts your brain's focus. Your brain has something in it called your RAS. And your RAS is something that controls what you focus on. So if you ever had, say you got some new shoes, or you got, somebody got a new car or whatever, and you notice you saw that thing everywhere, right? Or you met somebody new on campus or whatever, and you just notice, I see them everywhere. Why am I seeing them everywhere now? Are you stalking me? Why is that car? Is everybody own that car now? Why is everybody wearing that one shirt, right? Or if you see somebody who has a shirt from one of your favorite bands or your favorite artists or your favorite anime, or it just sticks out to you, and you're like, yo, do you watch? Why is that? Why does your brain ignore everything else? But when you see something that is related to you, it immediately, yo, you have the same car as me, or yo, we like the same band, or oh, why is that? That's because the brain has a mechanism in it that is, think of it like a heat-seeking missile, right? A heat-seeking missile doesn't have any brain of its own. You put it what you want it to go after, and it goes after it. And so when we say losing is good, most people think losing is a bad thing. And when I say losing is good, people get, oh, that can't be true. Right. Losing is good doesn't mean winning is bad. And that's the biggest misconception.
Yeah.
Both of them are good. The misconception is that you think losing is bad, and so when you lose, you feel bad, And the reason you're feeling bad is because like this means that I'm not as good as I thought, or this means I'm not gonna get to where I want to get. This is evidence that I'm not gonna get to my goal because I keep losing, which is false. It's actually evidence that you are gonna get to where you're going because you're getting data. Do you think this will happen twice for Jack?
I can say probably not. It is now very evident to me. Next time I see Volcarona, I'm immediately going to think, hey, Ace Trainer Scotty literally 6-0'd me with a Volcarona. I can't let that happen again. Right.
And so he just gained valuable information and valuable skills when he determines how he's going to do that with his team. Because his team is just inherently weak to Volcarona. But, there's solutions. But when he figures out how to solve the Volcarona problem, then when he goes into the next game, he's ready. But more importantly, after every game, focus on what you learned and what you did well. And that's because give me one sec. That's because when you ask yourself that's saying to that RAS, that heat-seeking missile, what did he do well? What did he do well? What did he do well? No matter how badly you lost. This is a 6-0, so this is a great example. Even though this game, Volcarona just overwhelmed, there's still things he did well. There's still things he learned. And when you have that reframe, you go into the next battle with confidence rather than feeling defeated. And this isn't theory, guys.
No.
Right. I don't go into the science of this too often because it kind of deviates from what we're here for. But you can go look this up yourself if you'd like. Right. This is not theory.
Right.
And so what did you learn and what did you do well is integral to your success.
Yeah.
And if you do not do it, you will fail. Point blank.
No way around it.
You will fail. You waste your time. Leave. I don't want you to waste your time.
And that's kind of key. Don't think that it's not mean. He's trying to say, hey, wake up. I'm trying to help you here.
Point blank period. I'm trying to save you time and pain. Just trust. If you think losing is bad, this will be a very painful game for you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna quit. I guarantee you're gonna quit. Especially if you don't know what you're doing wrong. So you're just hitting your head against the wall and you don't know why. You're gonna quit. Or you're gonna need a quote unquote break. Oh, I need a break from Pokemon. Or no, you just quit. You just couldn't handle it. And so we're here to help you handle it.
Yes.
And so he handled it perfectly. The only thing he forgot to ask is what he did well. But that's something that, we're gonna work on.
Yeah. And that's part of it too, guys. You won't do it perfectly. I mean, I've done this. I told the whole League of Legends story about how I kept asking what I did well, and I forgot it. Like, you're not going to nail it 100%, but the point is to keep trying at it and improve at it constantly.
Constantly. I still forget. And I discovered it. Right? So, you just, beat yourself up. It's like, okay. Part of the process. Okay. And once you detach, after the first 10 games or so, it's going to start feeling a lot of fun. You're like, holy shit, like, I want to play. Like, once it clicks, like, I'm not fearful of losing. Like, you get freedom.
Yes. And that was very true for me, guys, because I'll be honest, this didn't come naturally. Like, you saw me here, like, wow, you might be thinking, man, he does not care that man threw a GG early. Well, like, a few months ago, yeah, I would have cared. That would have made me mad. But it took practice. Like, I've been practicing this, and that's how you get to the point of losing is good. Like, no one just naturally is like, oh yes, I lost. Like, that almost never happens.
Me included. Trust me.
I am super competitive, guys. I don't like to lose inherently.
I still don't like to lose, but I don't think it's bad just because I don't like it. I don't like asparagus, but that doesn't mean it's bad for me. Right. I don't think competitors love losing. I'm not asking you to love losing. saying it's good, right?
Right.
And putting it the way Jack said it, it's just paying to learn. It's an investment, because you went even further. It's an investment. He just invested 19 points, and in return for his investment, if he looks over the game, he's going to get back far more.
Yes.
Every time. And so, just go ahead and grab one more.
Okay.
We're going to run down the same principle.
Okay.
Because you're actually a lot further ahead than I expected, so this is actually going to be really fun.
Okay, excellent. So guys, what were we just talking about? Oh, do you need to be invited? No, you're here.
No,
Volcarona, guys. I now am very aware Volcarona is a threat, which is just kind of a flaw within the team. But what I can deal with it. It's just, it could be better. So now I know I need to be very careful and watchful. Like, if I'm my opponent, would I just swap in Volcarona here for free, and then I waste a turn swapping the Corviknight while they Quiver Dance? So now I know that thing is a serious problem for my team. Frankly, a number of these things are kind of an issue. Tapu Koko is kind of a problem. That beats Mandibuzz, Slowbro, Corviknight. Yeah, those three. Which, I mean, basically it beats my defensive core. All of my defensive mons are weak to Tapu Koko, so I kind of need Rillaboom in against it. I'm not used to seeing Hitmonlee. Maybe that's meta now. I think it's still kind of uncommon, but I understand they know Rapid Spin. But as far as I'm aware, it's not a major threat, but they might prove to me why it is. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm afraid of Volcarona and Koko. Unfortunately, I don't have a mon to lead that outright beats both of those. Because Corviknight's really my only check to Volcarona, but it loses to Koko. This is a little uncomfortable. I was just reading in your book about the walking the tightrope. That's what I feel like I'm doing.
Do you have solutions? You have to think a level beyond this. But I mean, this isn't where you're supposed to be at, so I'm not emphasizing it. And right here, I mean, let's say you completely mess this up. What does that mean?
It means either you're saying if I mess up the lead?
If you completely mess everything up possible in this battle and lose horribly, what does that mean?
That means I'm going to learn something else.
It doesn't mean anything. So there is no fear. You just try, and then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
And look, what do we talk about? I led against Volcarona, lose to Koko.
So you have to find a solution now, right? One of the three actions is the solution.
Well, I know. What does Koko want to do against Corviknight? Obviously an electric move. Nidoking is immune to that. However, I'll be honest with you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if my opponent knew that I was not likely to leave Corviknight in on Koko, because, what options do I have? I really can't take value, and I'm assuming they know that. Well, Electric is not very effective against Rillaboom, and I'm pretty confident we live a Fairy move. What is that move called? I can't remember now. It sprays you with the Dazzling Gleam. Thank you. So I am going to go Rillaboom to try to offensively play defense. I'm going to try to bring in a threat that I think can take its hit. And it used Taunt, so that's even better for us. In this circumstance, my opponent was, I guess, trying to stop a setup Corviknight. I don't know, how does Corviknight set up against a Koko? I'm not sure, unless this is a screens variant, but he got almost no value, because I have all attacking moves. And now I have the initiative. I'm assuming he's going to want to swap here. And so I am going to click knock off to remove an item. Yep. So anything that comes in, I didn't want to use Grassy Glide and have a Landorus come in, intimidate me, and then I'm going to do almost no damage, and now he has the initiative again. So I click.
Weren't you in a situation like this last game?
Do what?
So weren't you in this situation last game?
Oh, where I could click Grassy Glide or knock off? Yeah, you're right. And I changed my action.
Right.
And look, it worked perfectly. That Volcarona is still a threat, but it is much less. Because he can't Quiver Dance here. because if I click knockoff, we will kill. Oh, I don't have much time. Oh, he has bug buzz. But now he's not set up, and I can get my Corviknight in, and he can't click anything just for free. Now, I do have to click Brave Bird to ensure that it dies. Ooh, he got the burn too. So he got a lot of value because he removed my Rillaboom and significantly weakened Corviknight, which is unfortunate. Against a Landorus, I'm going to go Mandibuzz. And he clicks Swords Dance. So this might be the Explosion variant. I'm going to click Foul Play. We're going to see. I hope it's not Explosion. It used Rock Polish. Incorrect move.
Right.
So that, I'm guessing, is a lack of awareness on my opponent that Mandibuzz runs Foul Play. So you don't want to boost attack on it. Yes, thank you. Lack of knowledge. He may well have not understood that I was going to just click Foul Play and destroy it there. Weavile is going to want to click Triple Axle, which is really unfortunate because I don't have... That's not true. Slowbro wants to take Triple Axle with Rocky Helmet. Oh, Icicle Crash. Okay. So that's me learning a little bit of something there. Now this thing learns Knockoff, which is really painful. This is not ideal. Volcarona gets super set up if I can get it in. Volcarona goes hard. How do we get there? So he wants to click Knockoff. Of course I'm running on time. I'm going to go Mandibuzz here. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go for Foul Play in this circumstance and try and get a bunch of damage. Oh, I don't have Rillaboom. I think that's still better. Toxic will take too long. Weavile will take my whole team. Oh, that kills. Okay. That's good to know. That kill. Okay, that's very unfortunate. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and assume I have lost because, no, +2 knockoff stab, that'll kill. But on the off chance that some... Oh, that too.
Right.
That too. Yeah, so at this point, I guess I pray for Scald Burn, but yeah, it's definitely over.
Yeah, so
and the reason
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the reason I didn't click Volk there, guys, I know it might look like I'm just like frustrated and throwing stuff out. Actually, I just know that Volcarona definitely doesn't do anything. So I clicked, like, I'm not just like randomly clicking Mons. And I realized it might kind of look like that. I'm just like, Volcarona never lives. But of course, neither does Corviknight, so I guess it didn't matter. But yeah. Okay. Ooh. Darn, that would have been way smarter. If I had gone... Once I saw Weavile got +2 attack, guys, I knew things were very bad. If I had led Volcarona and gotten that burn earlier, the Weavile would have been useless. Not useless, but I would have made it much weaker.
Right.
Oh, so the play was actually go sack Volcarona and pray for the burn, and that would have brought me back into the game.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the play was just to never let it get set up. But
that's true.
You know, as in the focus... The focus is because of that. Here's the thing, right? A lot of how you're going to get good is through stuff like this. You need to lose to near everything, so then you'll know what not to do. Mm-hmm. It's less about knowing what to. That's why the smart mindset is so poisonous. The smart mindset assumes you know what to do before it happens. You're supposed to know what to do. But if you've never faced it, how would you know what's supposed to do? So it's better, and it's actually how you learn, to mess it up first, which is why losing is good. How you're going to get good is by losing near everything. And so you'll know what to do to prevent that loss again. So Volcarona, you solved the Volcarona one, but you've never solved the Weavile one. So now you're going to have to solve the Weavile one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so what are you supposed to do at this point in the game?
Download the replay and review it.
What are you looking for?
I am looking for things I did well and stuff I learned.
Only.
Right.
And that's the key. Where you are currently, you still have to strengthen what you did well more. Because now I can tell. I know you're only I have to let the Weavile set up. and it's cool. Like, that is what every person watching this video is thinking. And so what I'm helping you guys understand is there are levels to this. Like, there are things that you have to, they're building blocks, right? I don't teach you algebra before I teach you 1 plus 1. Right? You need to learn addition first before we get to algebra and fractions. And so you're in 1 plus 1 right now.
Yeah.
And so even though you got destroyed by the Weavile, it's irrelevant unless you make it mean like this means I'm not as good as I think. One, that's true, but that's not a bad thing either. You're just, that's the main thing you want to reassert. You don't know that much. And how you learn more is by getting destroyed by all kinds of things, to where it's like, I think I've been destroyed by a Weavile 5 times. I didn't need to alter this team, which is why I suggested using a tested team.
Yeah.
Until you're good enough. You know, I usually say around 15, 1600, then you can dabble. Even that I don't suggest, but
okay.
Using a team that's already tested so you don't have holes like these. Because you're still learning the metagame and you're trying to build a team at the same time.
Yeah.
So what can often happen is you're losing, but it's less because of your skill and more because of the team, but you can't tell the difference. You can't tell if it's because of the team or it's because you're not playing well enough.
Right. So on a practical note, where do you find that? Now I kind of have an idea, but just for everyone who might be watching, where do you find those teams?
So in singles, sample teams, Smogon sample teams for whatever tier, you just Google that and they'll pop up. Or, you know, for more specific, in the academy, we provide a ton of those. Just ask, you know, just ask if it's in the comment section of the person you're watching. You'll likely get an answer. But if not, just Google Smogon sample teams. VGC has sample teams because these principles are, you know, they extrapolate to every, as you can see with even League of Legends. Because I actually have somebody who I'm training that is somebody who teaches League of Legends.
Oh, really? Neat.
And he's saying that it is the same. Like, so it's funny. Like he's good enough at League to teach it. Like people would pay him to learn League. So like, man, you know, those are the kind of people that, and you know, he's doing crazily in Mon. It's just great. But as we wrap up, the current thing I want you to focus on, anybody who watched up to this point, is only what you learned and what you did well. Now, what you learned, I have no control over what you learned, meaning you could put, well, I'm weak to Weavile with Swords Dance, or get Swords Dance, or knock off KOs, or you can put anything you want in what you learned. You decide what you learned. And you have to look for what you did well.
Yeah.
And over time, you practice this day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. When I start stacking on the other things, because everything you learn, and I won't go into the pillars this episode, I'll start it the next one.
Okay, sounds good.
Everything you learn, everything I'll ever teach you is to get better at attacking, defending, or switching. The only reason Jack lost this game is because he didn't attack at the right time, didn't defend at the right time, didn't switch at the right time. So any mistake is because of one, because that's all you can do.
Those are your options.
You can't do so. The only reason you ever win or lose is because you attack, defended, or switch either incorrectly, bad timing, or correctly. And so when before the Weavile came out, you had the edge because you were doing those things correctly. But then you started doing the 3 actions incorrectly. He set up, and you lost.
Yep.
And so everything I'm about to teach, because this is just the beginning episode, everything I'm about to teach will be to help you get better at making better attack switches and defendings. Everything.
Okay.
The pillars, team preview, everything is just to get you better at that.
Makes sense.
Because if you think about it, everybody has the option to attack, defender, switch. It's not like you have to be at the top of the ladder to be able to do so. The guy at 1000 can only attack, defender, switch. The guy at the top can only attack, defender, switch. What differentiates them?
How and when they do it.
Bingo.
That makes a lot
So
of
you're
sense.
first. What were you saying, Jack?
I was just saying it makes a lot of sense, and that's something I appreciate about some of the stuff you teach is the breaking it down and not saying stuff like complex things like, oh, you didn't fully understand the meta there. Well, yeah, that might be true, but at the core of it, it's because I didn't do those 3 things as optimally as my opponent did.
Yes. I like fundamental, I like truth.
Uh-huh.
And if you can do 2 plus 2, and then 2 minus 2, and then 2 divided by 2, 2 times 2, then I can start introducing a little bit of fractions, a little bit of, but you have to master that first.
Yeah.
And that's the core of the game, right? And then that's when you'll see those big jumps, like those 400-point jumps, because you're training, and you just have a run. And that's where you hit something called unconscious competence, but I'll teach you that later.
Yeah.
I just want that muscle memory in there now of what did I learn, what did I do well, what did I learn, what did I do well.
So that's going to be my homework. So you guys are going to see on my channel me doing battles, focusing on that. What did I learn? What did I do well? Every single game. Download every replay, and that is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show you guys what happens to my points. I'm going to show you guys my mentality. And then in the next episode, we'll start to build off of that.
100%. And I'm like super pumped because, as I said, this has never been attempted. And so when he actually communicated me initially through an email, and so when I saw what he was suggesting, I was like, how did he know I was writing another book? So this couldn't have been more perfect, because you're like the 5th person I've done this with, and they've always gone up, but over time I learned like, oh, okay, kind of go more and more fundamental, and that's where I learned like the 3 actions are actually the only things you can ever do.
Yeah.
Ever. Like in certain martial arts, you can only punch. And in boxing, you can only punch. What makes Floyd Mayweather different from Billy Bob at the boxing? Or well, he knows when to punch a little better than him.
Right.
He knows when to dodge a little better than him. It's punching and dodging, punching and dodging, punching and dodging, punching and dodging. And what you've come to realize, and I'm sure League has a version of this, where it's like you're really only doing whatever couple moves, and the determinant of who's the best is, do they do those moves with pristine timing? So it's homework, and I'll detail it for you in a more typed out thing. Is what did I learn? What did I do well? That's it. Simple.
We can do that. We can do that.
I hope so. Because I'll be watching. I hope
yes.
So.
Yes.
But yeah, that's it. Any final questions? Anything you'd like me to clarify?
At this time, I don't think so. I think we've got a very clear game plan, and we're going to trust the process and execute the process, and you guys are going to see what happens.
Bet. Sounds like a plan. I'm excited. Your channel, you got to do the closeout and all that stuff.
That's right. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please consider subscribing. Also, I recently started a Twitch channel. It's ninjack_Pokemon, where you can, at least for the time being, watch me practice these things. Now, if I suddenly explode in popularity and I start getting stream sniped, that might have to change. But for now, if you know about me while I'm still very new, you can literally watch me live doing this stuff and chat with me while I do it. So please consider following that and coming and checking that out. I hope y'all are having a great day, and I will see y'all later.
Peace.